It is a great honor to add these words about C.J. Mahaney. To think of C.J. is to think of a man whom God has so greatly used and raised up in this generation. When I think of C.J., I think of the word passion. But remarkably, C.J. is one of those Christian leaders whose passion is matched by conviction. This is a man of great faith, deep beliefs, a deep commitment to the passion for the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ, and to see Christ glorified in His church. C.J. has been a great encouragement to me, and not only that, he has been an impetus the Lord has used in my life to do greater things for God and to be even more passionate about the things of God in His church. C.J. is a man who equips other men. He is a man whose vision has been realized in a magnificent ministry and in untold numbers of lives into which he has invested himself. He's a man of remarkable humility, and proof positive that it is a man of that kind of Christian humility whom God uses in such a magnificent way as a vessel, not only for the gospel, but for His own glory. I appreciate C.J.'s commitment to biblical truth. How I admire C.J.'s determination to see the Bible translated into faithfulness in the everyday lives of Christians. I admire the ministry of the church, of the whole community of churches. I admire C.J. as a leader. Rare is the leader in Christian life who has around himself the quality of men whom C.J. has called together and whom God has used C.J. to equip. This is a ministry for the long term, to God's glory, because of the faithfulness of all those who've made this possible, whom God has used, but particularly of C.J. Mahaney. Let me speak personally for just a moment. To know C.J. is to love him and to be encouraged by him. These are things I always know about C.J. Mahaney. He will tell me the truth. He will tell me exactly what he thinks. He is not a man of calculation, but he is a man of candor. He's a man who sees himself as one whom God has set loose, I think, to encourage others, and he certainly does that. I have never been with C.J. Mahaney when I have not left just feeling a little bolder, a little better, and even a little more commitment to what God has called me to do. I am thrilled and greatly honored that the Lord has given me a personal friendship with C.J. Mahaney. I'm thankful that I've had the opportunity to observe this ministry and to get to know so many of the outstanding men around him. I'm thankful that the Lord is not finished with C.J. Mahaney, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the Lord is going to do through him and through the expansion of this ministry in years ahead. This is a man whose personal gifts are so many, but he gives them away. This is a man whose pastoral gift is so apparent, and he shares that with so many others who are now pastoring and tending the flock of God. C.J., I am so thankful God has given you to your church, to your movement, to His church, and to me as a gift. What an honor is mine to serve alongside you, and I hope to encourage you as you have encouraged me. God bless you. To God be the glory.
What comes to mind when I think of C.J.? His laughter. He always has a huge smile on his face. And, you know, I don't know if I've ever seen him unhappy. I mean, I guess he is, because he's a sinner like the rest of us, but he just laughs a lot. He's a happy man. And the thing about his laughter is he laughs at himself. Which is probably the thing I admire most about C.J., and there's lots I admire, but his humility. I mean, he doesn't take himself seriously, or too seriously. I mean, he takes his faith seriously, he takes his Lord seriously. But when he looks at himself and sees his own heart, he knows there's nothing there to get excited about. It's all grace. It's all grace. The other thing is his brilliance. He's got to be one of the most brilliant men I've known. And what makes that so amazing is he's a wise theologian, well-read theologian, but basically self-taught. And I sometimes wonder what would have happened if he ever went the usual route, went through college, went to seminary, went to graduate school. You know, what would happen? And the guy's so brilliant. Of course, maybe that would have spoiled him. I don't know. But you combine that brilliance with the humility. Oh man, that's a pretty tough combination to beat. The first time I met him, the thing that impressed me most was the combination of a guy who was reformed in his theology, but charismatic in his experience of the spiritual gifts. I'd never encountered that before, so here was this creature that I never knew existed. There's no such thing as a reformed charismatic. Okay, I mean that in my experience and in most of the world, that's an oxymoron. You know, you can't be reformed in your theology and charismatic in the experience of the spiritual gifts. That's an impossibility. But guess what? Here's a man who, because he's committed to the scriptures and read the scriptures, came to the point where he knew that God was sovereign over all things. And so he was moving into a reformed theological position. But also realized that there was nothing about that was necessarily inconsistent with the experience of the spiritual gifts. That computer from CJ. And just out of the blue, he said, you know, do they have a laptop? No. Well, let's get you one. So he got me one. I remember one Sunday watching him at a church service, standing near the door entrance, greeting just everybody who came in and calling them by name for the most part. And that's a big church. And we're talking, you know, a couple thousand people. And I wouldn't be surprised if CJ didn't greet at least half of them personally. And it was real. I mean, it wasn't, you know, this is something I do because I'm a pastor. He had a genuine passion for those people. The guy is a great communicator, simple in structure, and all good preaching is simple. Which is why seminary professors usually don't make good preachers, because they're accustomed to taking simple things and making them complex. What a good preacher does is he takes complex things and makes it simple. And CJ does that. CJ does that. Lots of good illustrations. You can tell that his preaching is not just an exercise. He has a passion for his people and a passion that they absorb what he's saying. Just a good preacher. CJ is such a wise leader, and if CJ sees in Josh the gifts that ministry needs and have been manifested through CJ, then Josh ought to be really complimented that CJ put his mantle on him. And that says a lot. It says a lot about the giftedness of Josh. Congratulations to Josh. And CJ, if I'm not there and you're looking at this on video, I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your leadership. I appreciate all that God has done through you. And congratulations.